As Illinois lawmakers look toward next year's budget, they'll have more money to spend. The state made a record nearly $1.5 billion in interest off investments during the last fiscal year. The money comes from low-risk investments like municipal investing state funds in the stock market. The state treasurer says the $1.5 billion, though, is money the state doesn't have to get from taxpayers.
Every dollar we can earn in investment income or interest income is a dollar that doesn't have to be raised in taxes or a dollar that doesn't have to be made in cuts for things like our schools, our universities, or roads and bridges.
Frerick says his office also helped local governments across the state make a combined $1 billion in investment income during the fiscal year 2024.
A group trying to